sister teams, when we play each other, we want to kill each other. I mean, to us, that's our extra bonus. That's something we look for. I honestly think we're in trouble if the other teams are doing better from our sister teams rather than just brutally speaking.
Aside from the 4-point shot, what else do you think the PBA needs to do to siguro innovate and attract more fans or bring the fans back?
I think new talent is always good for the league. Like the PBA was full also, but remember, most of our best talent lumuluwas, right? They're going to Korea, Japan. Sometimes some of them are going to the States. May ganun eh. Diba? So if you're seeing the same guys every year, that might be something. I think having either a stable venue or going more out of town, and that's a big sacrifice, right? But that might have to be done. I think eventually, in terms of home and away, it's good. You know, when you're carrying a certain province, you can see naman, but that's a lot of sacrifice from everybody around kasi you'll be based somewhere else. So I think the convenience of having us right now, we're still okay. But if you really wanted to fill the crowds up, out of town games might be it. And I'm not sure if it'll, this is just some things off my head now, sinasabi mo sa akin. Out of town, bringing in more imports. Now, can teams afford it?
That's another story.
But you look at Japan and Taiwan, they're probably two of the thriving things, and they have the most imports, right? So you can get good imports, and it doesn't have to be so expensive. There are a lot of all over the world that will come in for decent amount, and you can be in. And I'm not talking about NBA or G League. I'm talking about there are other leagues around the world that you can get quality players. Right now, it's up to you guys kung ano yung gusto nila. But that's an option, right? People will say limiting it to 2 conferences. I like 3 because I like tradition. There's more chance to win bonuses. It's more yun lang, ang daming games, diba? But I think the PBA, in fairness, maganda naman yung ginawa ng mga board of governors natin, right? They're innovating, they're trying stuff. I think that's good. They came to their heads, and now that it's there, we need to support, right? We need to see. We have to go all in this, and that's good. That's good. But I think the PBA also now is in a different level, Carlo. Dati, isipin mo, there's no internet. Walang movies on demand. Walang extreme sports. Walang at any time you can watch anything.
On demand nga ako siya.
On demand. You can go to the computer. You have computer games now. There's so many other hobbies you can get. It's not like before in the past. There was no cable. There was no internet. Diba? So the hobbies were limited. Travel wasn't that easy, right? You didn't have the NBA in the morning. By the time evening comes, sawa ka na sa basketball kasi sinimulan mo NBA. So there's ways, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have this because other parts of the world are thriving, diba? We're an older league, we're an established league, but I think it's good. I think we're joining ESL. I think that the people are open-minded. I think if the middle tier teams or the weak teams can strengthen and maintain the guys, I think that also will bring some interest also, right? Because we're also back in the days before when it was Crispa Toyota or but the other teams weren't as strong, right? So if they can find ways to strengthen that might help too, right? But I may not know what I'm talking about. I may have ideas because you'll never know until they may work it out. But for sure, brainstorming is good and those things. I think I'm just looking at the NBA or the other things. They have quality players all around and they stay. So even the middle tier teams it's full. Diba? So, home and away.
Yeah.
Is that's something to think about. New talent. I'm seeing it from Japan in terms of more imports. That's something to think about, right? And it's a world deep. It's like now the Philippines, daming kumukuha ng imports, diba? In the NBA, it's not only Americans, it's Europeans. In Europe naman, baliktad. Teams like Spain or Serbia, na dati panay Spanish dati at panay Serbians, half of the teams are Americans. Right? You look here now, will we open up? China, I look, is one of the old ones that are reserved in opening it up. Funny thing that Japan used to be a closed country. All of a sudden, they've evolved. And look at Japan now in terms of they're ranked first sa Asia, diba? So, is there something there? Did it make them better? That has to be thought of, diba? Dati, talunan yung Japan eh. It would be China, Iran, Philippines, Korea, diba? But they've evolved too, diba? So, I don't think anything is right or anything is super wrong, but it's nice to have these talks, diba? And I'm sure at that level, our bosses, our governors are trying their best also to brainstorm. And I think, just the innovations they try to do now, that's
a start.
Yeah, that's a start, and that takes a lot of guts to do that, right?
Oo nga. Yes, coach.
So, sa akin, just because if it's ideally, people say FIBA should do it, so the whole world does it.
Yeah.
Right? I respect that because our national team has to play the FIBA way. Okay, I get that. The NBA plays a certain way. We try to pattern it either closer to the NBA, closer to FIBA. Okay. But what makes them so special that kailangan sila yung unang maka 4-point? Bakit? Because Pinoy League tayo, hindi natin pwedeng gawin. I'm saying where is it gonna go? They've already thought about it. The 3-point shot is already, easy for most other guards. It's gonna go farther. So, inunahan lang natin sila. Right now, might take some time, but I think 20 years from now, 25 people will be talking. When think about the cell phone. 30 years ago, I said this already, it was just a cell phone. Did you really think 30 years ago that you could have a TV or you could look at anything, you could Google anything, you could play games with one gadget, pay your bills, everything? It's unheard of. We had to line up. We had to go to a movie to watch. We would talk in the landline on the phones. Now it's in one. So my thing is, we're evolving, right? Maybe the timing's not right and everything, but I'm gonna. They did some things. We're here. You move forward and we see. I don't think it's too much of a drastic change. It's still basketball.
Sister teams, coach. Anong masasabi mo na, syempre, you're part of one of the sister teams sa PBA. Are you torn na pag nakikita mo yung mga social media sa fans na sinasabi nila, having sister teams is one of the problems or root of the problem sa PBA?
Everybody has their own opinion. And I can understand why they're doing that. The way they have their opinions, our bosses have their opinions too. Hindi ba? Without them, I don't know if our league would hold. If there are people, to own a franchise, you have to love that franchise too.
Passionate
diba? You have to be passionate, diba? Iba then, they won't stay kung hindi nila hilig yan. So, I'm grateful here if they think sister teams, when we play each other, we want to kill each other. I mean, to us, that's our extra bonus. That's something we look for. I honestly think we're in trouble if the other teams are doing better from our sister teams rather than just brutally speaking. Ibig sabihin we're not doing well. Those guys are doing well. So I'm on my toes with that, right? I think what people maybe are trying to say is if you had more independent teams who are in it to win it, right? So, kumbaga, you're building to win a championship, right? But each team it's their prerogative what to do. Sometimes, sabihin nila, okay, I'm happy with this is it. But I think social media is a stage where anybody can say anything freely now.
Yeah.
It's a different game. So, that's what they're thinking, diba? So, it's something to think about. I think if you look at it, independent teams would probably be better in terms of kung lahat sila in it to win it. I'm just saying, we're part of the sister teams, but I don't think we have special treatment. I don't think we can snap our fingers and get a top 3 pick. We haven't had. So I think, honestly, Meralco is more like
An independent
an
team.
independent team. Because we traded for Raymond and Rizal. We had 2 first-round picks we have to give for Raymond. That's tough.
Yeah.
Uh,
Patas naman yun,
to
syempre.
trade
Yeah.
Baser, we got Bello. He's not in the league. It's hit and miss with those things, right? But I think it's things like that. You look at the team that's done really well, and then all of a sudden you break it. I think that's why the fans are saying that, right? So, but it's the prerogative of the bosses on what to do, right? It's a different age now with everybody saying things.
Oo nga. Ayos.
Mahirap.